Hi everyone, so let's talk about the string of bananas. The string of bananas is very similar to other senecios that you might be familiar with, such as the string of pearls. You're going to care for your string of bananas very similarly to how you would a string of pearls, or really a lot of different succulents. Because of the succulent type foliage on this plant, meaning that it has a lot of water storage in these bananas on the string, you are going to want to not water it too frequently. The string of bananas will absolutely show you signs of dehydration whenever it needs a drink of water. So you're going to see that the bananas get a little shriveled up, and you might even start to see some brown up around the base of the plant. That's going to be your indication that you need to water a little more frequently. So lots of bright indirect light, even a little bit of bright direct light would benefit these plants. Mine's actually a little leggy, a little etiolated looking, not the best string of bananas, truthfully. However, I just love it because it's so long. It's just so lush looking. Whenever I have it hung up, it just trails like to the floor. It's crazy. But water pretty infrequently. Make sure that you have a really well draining mix. So something that's very high in sand or perlite in terms of your substrate is really going to be beneficial to allow the water to drain through the plant, so there's not a lot of moisture sticking onto those roots and you won't succumb the plant to root rot. I haven't noticed any kind of susceptibility to any kind of pests, although I would recommend just washing off the foliage every once in a while. These guys are just going to trail and trail and trail and trail. So eventually you're probably going to want to propagate your plant, and that is exactly what I have going on over here. So you can just take cuttings anywhere along the stem of your plant. You will see whenever you look closely, everywhere where there is a new leaf pushing out or a new little banana, pretty much everywhere, you're going to see little tiny roots. So there's a few things that you can do to propagate your plant. You can actually just string this back into the top of the plant, and the roots that are back on these vines are going to take root into the soil that you place them in at the top of the plant. So that will just kind of create like a loop of propagation, and then you can actually just snip it then and create new vines that way to fill out the top of your plant. Or you can take cuttings directly off of the plant and then stick them into soil. What I would recommend is taking a trimming, and then similarly to how you would just put it in the soil at the top of your planter, just loop this around the top of your plant and allow all of those roots on the bottom side of the stem that you're planting to just touch soil, and spray it every once in a while to keep the soil a little bit on the moisture side, just until those roots get established. And then once you start to see that those roots are starting to shoot down into the soil, that's whenever you can pull back on watering a little bit, because you've stimulated that root growth and they're starting to get a little more established. So that's another way that you can propagate your string of bananas. You can also, which is what I'm doing here, just water propagate. So I just took some cuttings off of this plant. So let's say I cut this vine off here. If I cut it right back here, I'm just going to take off the last couple of bananas here and then stick that into some water. That way this foliage isn't sitting in water and will rot or anything. But I mean, I've just been too lazy and not really getting around to planting this. So you can see this huge kind of bundle of roots that I have here. It's kind of looking, actually it's getting a little mushy. So obviously I left this in water a little too long, and I'm not changing the water frequently enough. It's just kind of a cool aesthetic thing. You don't always have to like root your cuttings or anything like that, obviously. I'm just gonna compost this probably. Because, I mean, do I really need more plants? No. Do I really need more string of bananas? Obviously not. So yeah, you can create like cool little decorations with this too. You know, I just had this hanging somewhere. But yeah, guys, the string of bananas is a really cool vining succulent, similar to your string of pearls or other senecios like that. Bright indirect light, well draining soil, don't water too often, look for signs of dehydration, and you can fertilize every once in a while during the growing season. There are special succulent type foliage or succulent fertilizers that you can buy that would work well for this. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. Very easy plant to care for, very not finicky at all. As long as you're not overwatering it and giving it enough sunlight, it will be happy with you. All right, everyone, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.